the general facts. Any voltage can be hazardous, especially if you're operating under wet, in confined or in conductive locations. However, extra low voltage, where the voltage level is considered to be of lower risk, is defined as less than 50 volts AC or 120 volts ripple-free DC. This is where the risk of shock is low, but the risk of injury may be just as high, especially if you're working at height. Falling off a ladder could be the thing that causes injury as opposed to the actual shock risk. Shock risk can be fatal for lots of reasons. If all things go wrong, the consequences of electrical shock can be extremely hazardous. It can be fatal. Electric shock passing through the chest and across the heart can cause ventricular fibrillation. This is disturbance of the heartbeat. This can be fatal unless immediately treated. The use of a defibrillator may be a possible means of recovery from electric shock in that case. Electric defibrillators are designed to be used by anybody without training. They instruct you on the process to be followed to enable the defibrillator to be utilised. Other issues, other contact injuries that you may receive from electric shock are burns. This can be through hand to feet, it could be on the skin, it could be from heat or from arc situations. So shock risk is particularly from direct contact with live electrical parts, or it could be from contact with a structure which is energised due to a fault. There can be issues, eyesight injuries received from exposure to electric arcs, burns from heat from contact or exposure from electric arcs, or there can be the effect of strong electromagnetic fields, which are particularly of an issue for people who have a cardiac device implanted, and special working provisions would be needed in those for those individuals. On fixed installations, rolling stock installations, warning labels are used to indicate the presence of enclosed electrical areas. Some examples are shown on the slide. They may include the warning flash. There may be supplementary information with regard to the voltage level. The standard colour is a black text and symbol on a white background. These provide indication of warning of potential danger. Electrical safety warnings that we see on rolling stock are shown in the pictures. They generally give some indication of the type of supply. So we see traction supplies, which may be associated with overhead line equipment, require the pantograph to be down and earthed and locked off prior to access behind the cover. Auxiliary supplies also may be of a similar arrangement, or they could be to do with ensure that no jumpers are installed onto vehicles. Go back. You must comply with electrical safety warning labels all the time, and you must be certain that the electrical systems have been securely isolated and proved dead as part of a safe method of working. It should be noted that electrical safety labels may not be on the outside of equipment cases because of the need to keep them clean and legible. The primary cover, when it's removed, there may be secondary covers, and the labels could be installed on those covers. They could also be installed on covers, smaller covers within electrical operating areas. Okay. In terms of legislation, the Electricity at Work Regulations 1989 defined that there must be no live electrical working unless it is unreasonable to work dead and it is reasonable to work live, and there must be a safe system of work in place to prevent injury. It should be noted that testing or fault finding on live systems or equipment is live working regardless of the voltage. Many people go to site, and the work that they undertake, such as vehicle surveying and inspection, it does not involve working on or near parts of the electrical system. or external power supply. In this respect, standard provisions against direct contact should be maintained, e.g. electrical covers should remain in place, electrical equipment that's not covered is out of reach and no attempt is made to work close to it, above the orange cant line on a rail vehicle, and that the electrical hazard warning labels that are fitted to equipment and enclosures are complied with at all times. In this respect, then there is no danger from electrical hazards. Where your work activity does involve contact or exposure of electrical installations, you must not work or commence any work unless there is a safe system work in place that's being communicated and agreed with the site owner, and that the electrical systems and equipment on the rail vehicle have been securely isolated and proved dead. And the isolation technique will vary from depot to depot and from installation to installation. But however, proving dead should always be the same. Work must be carried out in a safe manner, and things to consider when developing a safe system of work include control of the risk while working, control of test areas, use of test areas, i.e. barriers, bollards and the like can be used to define a temporary test area. If you are working, you should be using the correct tools and you should be wearing the correct PPE. In order to know what you're working on, then you need adequate information to ensure how systems can become energised, if it may be a remote from where you're operating from, whether that be a fixed installation or mobile. Lone working should be avoided as well, especially if you're working on live electrical equipment. When working, there needs to be adequate space for you to be able to move. You need to have appropriate access, and you will need sufficient lighting. We talked earlier about proving the electrical system dead. The use of correct test equipment, i.e. electrical tester and proving unit, as shown on the pictures, will ensure that the system is... Start again. How do you prove electrical system dead? Health and Safety Guidance Note GS38 states, use of incorrectly set multimeters or makeshift devices for voltage detection has often caused accidents. Therefore, use of the correct test equipment, e.g. electrical tester and its associated proving unit, has the advantage that it cannot be incorrectly set, you can't be on the wrong range, that it's designed for proving a system is dead, as opposed to using a meter which may be set to the wrong range. It could give a false indication of electrical system being dead when it is not. SNC-Lavalin hold a number of electrical testers. Examples are shown in the picture. It is a two-pole device. You use it to ensure that the electrical system is isolated and is proved dead before working, in order to ensure that the tester itself has not become defective or damaged through previous use. The proving unit provides a 50-volt source which you use to check that the meter is operating correctly before you then use it to prove dead of an installation. With any electrical equipment or any test equipment, you should check its condition and leads before each use. Okay. There was a line on the bottom of that, which was, prior to booking out, ensure all tools and equipment have been calibrated. Are these items calibrated? They are.
Both of them.
Okay. So really, the instrumentation control system should check about calibration. Yeah. So you would only check its calibration when you get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So take the word prior to booking out. Yeah. So ensure any tools that you use have been calibrated prior to use, and ensure that you book these tools and equipment out on the appropriate system. Okay.
So ensure any tools Very good, mate.
Okay, that'll do. Ensure any tools and equipment. Okay. Next one. Step back. We should always follow the principle of step back, which is to step back 2 metres and take 2 minutes. I need to read what it says. The step back tool is provided to all personnel to prompt them to step back 2 metres for 2 minutes at the start of a new day, at the start of a new working assignment, and whenever conditions change. Okay. So planning is a process that we should take before we go to site. So obtain details of the railway stock, depot and work facilities, review the intended work activity and identify any associated hazards, produce a method statement which is recorded under ITL form SP9-F4 or ITL SP12-F17, which is the longer method statement. But the key issue, once you've planned, is to communicate to all relevant parties and have this method statement approved. It's not just a tool that we use in the office, it's something that should be used at site. Once at site, follow the local safety procedures, working instructions and hazard warning signs. Do ensure you receive an appropriate safety induction at site. Do comply with depot personnel protection systems. Step back to ensure that no new hazards have been introduced to the workplace that was not considered during the planning stage. Follow your method statement and communicate before, during and after to anyone affected by your work. And as always, prove dead to test before you touch. You must not interfere with any safety equipment, isolations or safety notices. Okay. I don't know how long that took, and I'm sure it was very lumpy. Okay.